So it's official, Epic Games is suing both Apple and Google after they kicked Fortnite off both their app stores. Epic says that Apple is anti-competitive and has too much control over how consumers spend their money. Apple, on the other hand, says that they've done nothing wrong and they filed a restraining order against Epic. It's a legal battle years in the making and one that could fundamentally change how we play video games. Alright guys, if you like the kind of stuff that we tackle here on Don't At Me, well then you're gonna love our talk show Clouted, which airs over on twitch.tv/theScore esports every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. It's where me, Keith, Dan, and Colin discuss some of the biggest stories from streaming and esports. So make sure you follow the channel and hit that notification button so you know exactly when we go live. So last week on August 13th, Epic Games introduced a new way to make in-app purchases on the iOS version of Fortnite. And this was big because up until now, the only way to buy more V-Bucks or skins or hell, even the Battle Pass itself was to pay through Apple's App Store, which is exactly how Apple makes money off that App Store. See, Apple is all about control, and one of the ways they control the financial side of things is by taking a 30% cut of all apps sold on the App Store and a 30% cut of all in-app purchases from any app on the App Store that lets you buy shit. Basically, every time you buy an app or buy something within an app, Apple takes 30%, no negotiations. So not only did Epic introduce this new way to pay as a way to get around giving Apple 30%, but buying shit using Epic's payment method was cheaper and it saved you money. It's kind of like giving a digital middle finger to Apple. And as you can imagine, as soon as Apple realized that Epic was trying to get around giving them that 30% cut, they freaked out and kicked Fortnite off the App Store. And that alone was big enough to make mainstream news.
The billion-dollar battle over one of the most popular video games in the world, both Apple and Google removing Fortnite from their respective app stores.
Epic CEO Tim Sweeney has been, this is kind of a personal thing for him. He's been a huge advocate against Apple's mobile app store, and now he's mobilizing his company and the biggest game they have, Fortnite, to try to make things fair for what he says is all developers around the world.
But here's the thing, from where I'm sitting, getting Fortnite kicked off the App Store is exactly what Epic wanted. Because hours after they got kicked off the App Store, Epic Games filed a 65-page antitrust lawsuit against Apple, plus they launched an ad that rips off Apple's iconic 1984 ad, plus they launched a marketing campaign that paints Apple as this big evil corporation.
This power is ours and ours alone. We shall prevail.
Now, while Epic hasn't stated this publicly, the narrative online is that Epic basically baited Apple into kicking Fortnite off the App Store, so they had a very public excuse to file the lawsuit and kickstart this marketing campaign. And considering it takes months to organize a lawsuit and a marketing push of this size, it's safe to say that Epic would have planned this all out way ahead of time. After getting kicked off the App Store, Google also removed Fortnite from its Play Store, prompting Epic Games to file a lawsuit against Google as well. Imagine taking on Apple and Google in the same weekend. And while Apple hasn't fired back publicly, they did file a temporary restraining order against Epic on Monday, August 17th that would ban all Epic-related products and development tools from Apple's App Store. Quote, it told Epic that by August 28th, Apple will cut off Epic's access to all development tools necessary to create software for Apple's platforms, including for the Unreal Engine Epic offers to third-party developers, which Apple has never claimed violated any Apple policy. End quote. And what that basically means is that any app or game developed using Unreal Engine won't be allowed on Apple's App Store. If you didn't know, Epic owns Unreal Engine, and everyone uses it to make their games, from the biggest AAA studios to the smallest indies. But if Apple won't let Unreal-made games on the App Store, developers could just switch to a different development tool, and then Epic would be in huge trouble. Okay, so that was the news, and before I get into Epic's manipulation and PR tactics, I gotta break down just what the hell an antitrust lawsuit is and why Epic is targeting Apple in the first place. To put it simply, simply, antitrust laws were developed back in the 80s to prevent companies from taking advantage of consumers and to allow for fair competition between companies. And this is exactly what Epic is accusing Apple of doing with its App Store, taking advantage of both the consumer and the developer by essentially locking out all forms of competition. Here's a quote from the lawsuit. Quote, "Fast forward to 2020 and Apple has become what it once railed against, the behemoth seeking to control markets, block competition, and stifle innovation. Apple is bigger, more powerful, more entrenched, and more pernicious than the monopolists of yesteryear. At a market cap of nearly $2 trillion, Apple's size and reach far exceeds that of any technology monopolist in history," end quote. And this is the crucial part of the lawsuit. Epic is trying to wrestle away Apple's control of the App Store market and make it so that their games are available in more places, therefore they can make more money. In Epic's eyes, right now the App Store is the only way to sell your product on iOS devices, which according to Epic means that Apple can make up whatever rules they want and basically charge whatever they want because they're the only player in town. It means that if you're a developer, you have to give Apple that 30% if you want your app to live on the App Store, and it means if you're a consumer, you're forced to pay whatever Apple charges because, well, that's the only place the app is available. Epic sees this as anti-competitive, anti-consumerist, and monopolistic, which is now why we have the lawsuit. For context, Epic isn't the only one fighting Apple over its alleged anti-competitive policies. Apple is currently dealing with a government-led antitrust investigation in the EU, and it's battling a massive antitrust class action lawsuit filed in the US back in 2019.
The Supreme Court is now allowing consumers to move forward with an antitrust lawsuit against the tech giant over the sale of iPhone apps. The suit maintains that Apple has unfairly monopolized the market to set prices. Apple charges a 30% commission fee to developers whose apps are sold through the Apple App Store. iPhone users must exclusively buy their software there. Now, the court did reject a plea from Apple to drop the suit.
Now, if you believe what Epic Games CEO Tim Sweeney is saying online, this lawsuit is a good thing. It potentially opens up more app-centric platforms for developers to sell their product on, and it potentially gives consumers more options as to who they give their money to. And if that's what ends up happening, that's great, no problem. What is a problem is the way Epic has positioned this legal battle publicly, by manipulating its audience into fighting it for them. Let's be honest here, as much as Epic wants more open platforms, it's not because they care about you as a person. They care about the money that you spend on its products, namely Fortnite. Opening up markets and allowing for more places for apps to live also allows Epic to potentially make a shit ton more money. So by coming out with this ad that calls Apple oppressive, and by calling on the millions of young impressionable kids who have no idea what the fuck is going on besides the fact that their hobby is now gone, Epic has positioned themselves as the good guy here. And clearly, Epic's plan is working. Just search #FreeFortnite on Twitter, and you'll find dozens and dozens of people backing Epic and saying how it's a good thing that they're trying to take down a greedy corporation like Apple. To which I say, it's Epic Games. They're just another billion-dollar company. They are absolutely no different from Apple when it comes to making money. They just want you to think that they are. Epic is banking on the fact that either A, its audience won't understand what it's doing, or B, won't give a fuck as long as they get to play Fortnite. And sadly, Epic's right. Because the truth is, Epic doesn't give a shit about you, and this marketing push is just a corporation's attempt to get the public on their side and to position the outcome as a win for the little guy. Instead of simply proving in court how Apple operates is bad for you, the consumer, Epic has recruited Fortnite fans into fighting a digital marketing war against another giant corporation, all in the name of money. It's manipulative, morally bankrupt, and we should not be celebrating it at all. So if you want to think of this as a positive from a consumer and developer standpoint, that's fine. And you know what? It probably is a positive. But don't think for a second Epic cares about anything more than lining its pockets off the back of your fandom.
What surprises me the most of this is this unconscionable use of 1984. It's so like ironically dystopian to do this. The whole thing is just so. Oh my god.
From an editorial standpoint, this doesn't make sense either. Because who in their right fucking mind thinks that anybody under the age of 14 is gonna understand what the Apple 1984 advertisement is? These motherfuckers weren't even born when it came out. It's just like...
I don't even think they know what, like even the book.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's a famous book, but it's not like, you know, everyone, like kids know what it is.
No, exactly. So I was just like, you're going over so many people's heads here that, you know, like, I don't even know if this is gonna land properly, but whatever.